I just listened to the progression project with Laird Hamilton, and he said, what was the biggest revolution in foiling? And Laird said, when Alex Aguirre made the first GoFoil and you flew to one of the other islands and you gave it to him, and you come back, he said, what's your feedback? He goes, the good news is it's really good, and the bad news is you're not getting it back. So I guess anyone who's riding a foil these days, this guy is who you need to thank. So since you started, you've done fuselage, mast, one piece, carbon. Everything is carbon, but nothing's metal, really, is it? Why did you make it like that from the start? We haven't changed anything really until recently.
Basically, this all comes from the early days of when I first started making kite foils. I was just learning how to mold all of this stuff and build my own kite foils from scratch, because the stuff that I had gotten was falling apart, and Maui's really hard on equipment. So our original kite foils, where we would bolt a wing right on top, put like 3 screws on it, and then I'd go out. What really pissed me off the most, I'd make this wing, I worked 2 weeks on it, I finally got it ready, and it's like I've blood, sweat, and tears. I go out, hit the reef, boom, I knock it out. Lose my front wing that I worked all this time on.
Yeah.
And so that's what made me to come up with the system of making this cone.
Yeah.
So it's like the wing fits on, I only need 1 screw, it's super rock solid. If I hit the reef, I don't lose my wing. That was the main reason why I did this in the beginning. But anyway, we did the same thing with the tail wing. It was like, hey, if it's working on that, let's just put the tail wing on like that too, so that it's very hard to lose it. So it's more about making super strong equipment, don't lose it. The reason I went with the one-piece fuselage and mast is because eventually most problems will be right at this connection here.
A lot of force going through.
A lot of force going here. You've got your wings trying to twist this fuselage back and forth. You hit the reef or whatever, your screws are backing out. There's a lot of problems that can happen right there. That's why we go with the bomb-proof, one-piece system.
Yeah, and is that solid carbon? The whole thing is solid.
The masts are solid carbon at this point. Everything is totally solid on this, all the way down to the plate. So there is no aluminum. It sounds like aluminum, though.
Yeah.
You think it's metal. You hit this with a screwdriver or something metal, and you're like, whoa, that's metal for sure.
Yeah.
No, it's just solid pre-preg carbon.
The whole thing.
But the most convenient thing about a GoFoil too is that you only got 2 screws for your front wings. Put it together. You don't need 8 screws. You don't need to find your Torx wrench that you lost in the car, and you can't find another guy at the beach who has one. We use a number 3 Phillips screwdriver. For all of you guys that don't know, most Phillips are a number 2. We use a number 3. The reason you use a number 3, Hemiya, a number 3, is that this is a bigger screwdriver. It's harder to strip your screws. So that's the reason why we use number 3s.
So
show them how to put that together, how easy it is to put together.
Touch on that. Literally plug and play. Slide it on like that. Hit your mallet on the leading edge. That's on. And then you put your screw in the front there.
Just easy, simple, it's strong.
Super solid.
Super solid, because this thing can't spin because it has the collar. It's, you run into the reef all the time with GoFoils over here in Maui, so it's like the birthplace of where all that cone stuff came from, is right here hitting the reef.
Yeah. So it's super strong, solid, simple.
Plus this pitch here, you don't have to worry about this pitch anymore. With having a fixed tail like this, the pitch is already set for you. All you have to think about is, I don't have enough lift, I move my mast forward in my box. If I have too much lift, just move your mast back in your box.
Another thing I just thought about was someone will argue, well, you can't change your fuselage length. We changed the fuselage length through the tail wing.
Just a tail wing.
Yeah, a little longer one.
Yeah.
That's how you get it off.
Okay, so we got the 2 different masts here. This is the new version 2. This is the original version 1.5. And what you can see is that the geometry has changed to where this fuselage has been shifted forward about 50 millimeters, so 2 inches roughly. It's the same exact fuselage, so just imagine this fuselage has been shifted forward onto this mast. The other change we have is this cord is slightly wider, so it's a little bit thicker. This is 3 millimeters wider. So with the actual width, will stiffen up your mast a little bit, both sideways and in twisting. The other thing was with this foil section on this cord itself is a racier foil section. This is more of what we would use on a fast racing wing. So we've got a little bit of reflex, concave, in the tail part of this, the trailing edge, and a little bit different. This is more called a 50-50 foil. This is more probably about 35% is where the main foil thickness is. So it's faster, slipperier, and a little bit smoother through the water. You just feel smoother, less chance that it's vibrating or making any noise, just a cleaner foil section all around. The other thing with shifting this foil or the fuselage forward is that it has helped with the pumping. And the reason it's helping with the pumping is that your front wing is up forward, so just imagine you're rocking back and forth while you're pumping. And you're up on your front, you're up in the back, you're up in the front. What's happening is your front wing is moving a lot more than when it's a little bit further back. So you notice when this one's rocking, the front wing doesn't move as much as this one. You can see how this one kind of oscillates up and down. So you're getting a little bit more effect out of your front wing driving down, and it actually feels like you're squirting forward more than when you're riding this mast. It gives you that projection.
What I found going from 1.5 to V2 was on your pump back out as a prone rider, it projects you forwards rather than like so much up and down.
Yeah.
I found it feels like it turns nicer, definitely faster.
Yeah, you can feel the difference.
Yeah, sweet. And is there any other features on that mast you want to show off or talk about?
The other features on this is, since your fuselage has been shifted forward, so just imagine your wing is further forward on your board, so you want your mast to come back about at least 1 inch. So what we have done, if we put, say you're in your board and your boxes are already at the back, we put some extra holes in here to where you can go back further. This is about 35 millimeters. It's about 1 3/8 inches, so you can go that much further back.
Yeah.
So if you need to, there's extra holes there. Just when you have these holes, there's extra holes here too, in case you want to go forward. Don't ever use the 2 inside middle holes together at once. Either spread the load out a little bit. Either use the back and this front one, or this front and this back one. Just don't ever use the 2 in the middle at once. One of the reasons why you don't want to do that is you can line up with the little hole that's in the middle of your tracks, and it'll come out. You won't realize that, oh, wait a minute, I lined it up right there and I tightened it all the way down. It wasn't really touching anything. It went up the hole.
Yeah.
So that's one of the main reasons why you don't put it there, so you don't line that up.
And the V2 mast comes in a 70, 80, no, 70, 75, 80, 90, 100, 110.
There's 110, but you have to, kind of special order that.
Special order it.
Tell Carla that, hey, I want one of those 110. I want what Kalani's riding over there in those giant waves in Kauai.
Yeah.
So
And V2 is only in plate unless
only in
special
plate order. Because if you make it a Tuttle and you want to tell them to move it an inch further back, you can't do anything with the Tuttle.
Yeah.
So we're going to stay away from building it for the Tuttle.
Yeah. And then one other thing I would say is, if you lose them, you can buy them with the sets as well of these. Because you can't go to the hardware store and buy these.
We sell those sets.
Yeah. Don't you love that sound?
That's why you use a good mallet.
Shh, we don't offer it, so don't say that.
Go frickin' buy one.
Throw that in a second, and then your tail wing to there.
Just like that.
And that's it.
It's just so easy.